Do you really have to lay right there? Let's see if he suddenly decides he has to poop again, because this is the second time I've started this recording. Dusty, get your paw off my back. Come here. Camille. There you go. Lay down and chew on it. He's had the runs the past, 24-ish hours, but it's slightly better than what it was last night. Like, last night it was pretty watery, and he was up, every 2 hours, so I'm hoping that it's going to last a little bit longer, because that's how long I'm hoping that this stream will last, is about 2 hours. So we're risking it for a biscuit here. We're just going to go ahead, roll directly into this, and hope that we can get this done, because it's the birthversary. I want to get this done. I believe it. I believe we can get this done. He's had some food. We just help keeping him a little bit more solid. And yeah, we're just gonna roll right into this. Again. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Phoenix Reads. Today's episode is a series of Whatever Wednesday, and it is also our birthversary episode. As usual, I don't read any of the stories I'm about to read with you. I will leave any usernames in the description if you want to go leave your own opinion on their post, given it is still up. My username for Reddit is in the description. Feel free to tag me in stories you'd like to hear me read. Let's get started. Okay. We're gonna, positive vibes, we're gonna be able to do this. And we're gonna do this. We're gonna be able to do this. He just, literally within the past 5 minutes pooped. We're gonna do this. We can do this. Hello, and happy birthversary. I am so excited to be doing this episode. I did not ever think I would be celebrating the 1 year anniversary of this podcast. I'm not gonna lie. I have started quite a few things in my time and have not seen them to fruition. So I feel like for me, seeing this and celebrating this a whole year later is absolutely amazing and very, very exciting. And because this is going to be an extra long episode, we are just going to go ahead and roll right into it. My little co-host that you might hear is kind of have a little bit upset stomach, so we are trying to beat the clock for that. He is doing better than what he was doing last night, so fingers crossed, and let's get started. I am the wife of a porn addict, and it destroyed me. This is concluded. And this was originally posted in r/nofap, and it does have trigger warnings, so this is for anybody who needs those. We have severe addiction, severe depression, and self-harm, so go into this story with, a carefulness if you need to. I am the wife of a porn addict, and it destroyed me. This was posted April 16th of 2021. Porn is not some innocent pastime. Porn isn't something that doesn't hurt those we love. Porn is destructive to yourself and to those that love you. I feel like that can be said for anything that is an addiction, though. So, even video games, if you have an addiction for something like that, it's going to hurt the people around you, regardless of how innocent you may feel it is. I used to be confident, self-assured, had pride in myself, and loved myself. Now, nearly 6 years later, I'm a shell of the person I used to be because of my husband's porn addiction. I watched, year after year, my husband ogle other women right in front of me, literally fantasizing about fucking these women while sitting right next to me holding my hand. I'm not gonna lie, this kind of hits home a little bit for me because I was in an abusive relationship, and I wouldn't say he was addicted to porn, but it was definitely something that I had never experienced openly in a relationship like that. And he would make very vulgar comments, and it made me very self-conscious. So, because he would always, it was always very pretty, very skinny women, and anybody that looked more like me was disgusting for him. So it was a very weird situation to be in. I learned how time after time my husband preferred to sit in some dirty, nasty public bathroom for God only knows how long, watching God only knows what, and jerking off to the point of injury, instead of coming home and making love to his willing and wanting wife. I now know that during our lovemaking, all my husband thinks about are nameless women and is fucking them in his head and just using my body as a means of doing this. There's more, so much more. It hurts too much to talk about. I have caught him a few times. He rationalized his behavior, promised to stop, and told me he had for years. Now I found out it's never stopped. Not once. What are you doing? We're trying to have a serious conversation here. Lay down. He's been lying to me for years, and now, finally, when he's literally destroyed the person who loved him more than life itself, he's ready to change. Yeah, I know. Say, how messed up is that? My problem is I feel like they always say that they're ready to change when you're finally at your last breath. And because they're hoping that by telling you that they're actually finally ready to change because they see that this is the final, like, you can't take anymore, they feel like saying it is gonna, like, make you stay. That's what I feel like most of these situations, like, what happens in most of these situations. Why did his recovery have to come at my expense? Why did his willingness to finally get help and admit to what he's been doing to me all these years have to happen when I've reached rock bottom? And now I'm supposed to continue to support him to make it easier for him so that he doesn't relapse, be kind and sweet, and not talk about it with him so that he can continue to succeed while I watch him take quick peeks at bikini girls on TV or quick glances at young girls in tight yoga pants at the store. I'm supposed to make it easier for him when I no longer want to live, when I don't sleep, when I hurt myself to take away the inner pain of my husband's porn addiction, or that my husband's addiction has caused me. For those of you that think this is harmless, you are dead wrong. If you think that by hiding it makes it okay, you are wrong. I would have never married him had I known he had any addiction, drugs, alcohol, gambling, or sex. I had the right to know about it. I had the right to know what I was marrying into, to make that decision for myself if I could accept it. But that choice was taken away from me. For the sake of your loved ones, be honest from the beginning. Don't take away their right to decide, because for me, at this point, it's a matter of my own life or death if I stay. We have an update from December 8th of 2022. So quite a long time, over a year later, almost over a year and a half later, if I'm thinking about this correctly. It's been just over 2 years since I first learned of my husband's addiction. It's hard to read my initial post. Man, was I in a deep, dark hole. The hole only grew too, and I saw some pretty dark times in the months to come. For those who offered kind words, sympathy, offered advice, and reached out, thank you. For those of you who did the opposite, all I can say is I hope and I pray that you never have to experience what I have these last 2 years. Over the last 2 years, I have been dealt many disclosures and admissions, each one worse than the last. What I thought was a pornography and masturbation addiction turned out to be far worse. I can say that this has been the most humbling experience, and I've learned that unless you are in someone's place, you really have no idea of what you would do, regardless of what you think you would do. It's also been humiliating, degrading, tormenting, and isolating in ways that are unimaginable. I want to touch on the sentence before that last one. And it's very true. We can sit here and say, oh, well, like if I was in that situation, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do this. But you're not. Everybody handles situations differently, and we have to remember and be sympathetic to the fact that we really don't know how we would react in that situation because we haven't been in that situation. So I feel like unless you have been in the exact same situation, like T for T that this person has been in, you can't say, oh, well, I would have done this or I did this. Every situation is going to be different, even minusculely enough to the point where it's not going to be the same, that you're not going to have the exact same reaction and the exact same response to what happened as she did. Some Oh, hold on. Okay, some will say I'm weak for staying as long as I have, but they are wrong. It takes great strength to wake up every day and face the same demons, and determination and grit to slay them every single day. Some days I wanted to die. Other days I wanted to run. Yet every day I chose to keep fighting until I no longer felt like dying or running. For those of you who are struggling with this addiction, if there is anything I hope to gain out of all we've been through, all that I have endured, is this. Pornography is a drug, and a powerful one at that. It lures you in with the promise of pleasure and excitement, and when it is done with you, then what? You're alone. Sitting in a dark room with nothing but the lights of a computer screen as a companion. Alone. Standing in a bathroom with your phone in your hand as your lover. Alone. Laid back on your sofa, staring at a frozen television screen after your video has ended. Alone. Then the shame comes. The shame of once again giving into this temptation. The shame that you couldn't stop yourself yet again. The shame of your secret and that you choose fantasy over your partner. The one who's there every day to support you, to love you, to live a life with you. Yet you seek sexual release behind his/her back, knowing they deserve better. Knowing this is wrong. But it doesn't end there. No pornography is not done with you. Yet. Erectile dysfunction. Viewing pornography is that progressively hardcore or material you never dreamed you would view, or, worst case scenario, illegal pornography, and I promise you, it will happen. Like any drug, you build a tolerance. Then, when fantasy isn't enough, you physically start acting out. Cheating. Public masturbation. Stalking. Window peeping. The list goes on. Will porn be there to keep you warm at night? Will porn wrap its comforting arms around you when you are grieving a loss? Will porn give you a family to fill your home with warm memories? Will porn build a life with you? Or would you rather look back and think about all the times you masturbated while your wife slept? Or how you'd rather miss your kid's school concert so you can have time alone to get off? You are the one missing out. That isn't a life. You are at the mercy of the pornography, and the price you pay is far more than you realize. You aren't just hurting yourself. You're hurting those you say you love. I can promise you, your partner isn't going to angry. They're going to be hurt that you would rather turn to fantasy than to them, and they deserve better. You deserve better. For anyone who's interested in knowing, I'm alive and well. Although, if I were honest, I didn't know if I would be. My husband's addiction had many layers, has many layers, and everything that was safe to me has been violated in one way or another, and I no longer had safety. I had nowhere to go. No one to talk to, because if anyone knew what my life was, I would be ostracized. My kids would have been ostracized. I had far more to lose than just a marriage. After feeling about as low as anyone could, I decided to have cosmetic surgery. For me. And I feel amazing about myself again. I also went back to school to get my master's degree, with the plan to specialize in sexual addictions. I'm 1.5 years in, with 1.5 years left. All A's thus far. Maybe I'll open my own practice. Maybe I'll move. Who knows? What I do know is that I'm not limited. Do I still have days that are rough? Absolutely. But I fight every damn day. I fight back. I love myself. I love who I've become, and I have to pay dearly for the person I am today. My last disclosure was 5 months ago, when I learned my husband was using his job to get entrance into women's homes and use their personal items for his pleasure. My advice to anyone, get cameras installed. He also went window peeping on the night of my birthday 6 months ago. The next month, my husband entered treatment. Am I still married? Yes, but with very strong boundaries. I made him disclose his actions to his employer. He is no longer allowed to work alone. Honestly, I'm really surprised that the guy even still has a job. Just saying. Period. I have a tracking app so I can make sure he's not frequenting public places to act out. He has an app that monitors his screen activity so that he cannot access pornography. He does not use credit cards so that he cannot purchase anything without me knowing. There were conditions I made clear to him if we were to stay married, or he could leave at any time. He chose to stay. After inpatient treatment 1,000 miles away and $25,000 later, he recognizes now how ill he was. and he will always be an addict, and he never wants to go back to that place again. He is willing to do what he knows he needs to stop that from happening. He has little self-control, and he has told me and his therapist that I have saved his life, and he is forever grateful that that even with the boundaries, I stood by him, and I fought for something far greater than just our marriage. Are the boundaries too much? Maybe. But he's welcome to leave at any time. I am not concerned with protecting the addict, but I will protect him, myself, and society to the best of my abilities. To conclude this post, I would like to say that pornography is not what you think it is. Many of these people in pornography are victims of sex trafficking, childhood sexual abuse, prostitution, and forced into this life with drugs, manipulation, abuse, fear tactics, and many others. It is a business that supports the continuation of all of these things, and I encourage you to please check out the Fight the New Drug site, link below. If you are not part of the solution to combat this, then you are part of the problem. And as long as you support pornography, you are supporting the continuation of abuse of thousands of women, children, and men. Good luck to you all, and I wish you all the best in this powerful struggle. There is also a link, and I am also going to put the link after this story, so that way you know which story it belongs to when I do the stuff down below. That was a lot more rough of a story than I thought it was going to be because again, I don't read the stories. I just look at the titles and I go, hey, that looks like a good one. Or I go, that looks relatable. And in a way it is, because the guy that I mentioned earlier, he also had a friend who was very much addicted to porn. Like, that is all that was on his TV at any given time of the day. And he lived with his sister. Like, he would just sit there and watch porn. Like, even to the point where he wasn't even masturbating while watching it. He just had it on. Like, I will watch YouTube and have, like, Markiplier or Jacksepticeye or something that I watched before in the background while I'm, like, doing surveys on my phone or playing games or Facebooking or just, you know, whatever. And so it can get bad. Like, addiction is addiction, regardless of what you're addicted to, whether it's gambling, drugs, sex. It doesn't matter. It's still, if you are addicted to it, it can still ruin your life no matter how innocent you think it really is. Like, you could be like, oh, well, I'm just addicted to porn. It's not like I'm addicted to meth or crack or cocaine. Like, it's still an addiction. It can still ruin your family. So, I'm also going to try and put a link to the Trevor Project for, you know, anybody that feels in a deep, dark hole. I have been there myself. So if you ever feel like you need somebody to reach out to, the Trevor Project is there. It has wonderful, wonderful people to help you. And I'm going to look up whatever else I can for that. I have, like, on my personal page for Facebook, I have a whole post that is pinned to my profile that is public as all get out. And it literally has every single phone number that I was able to find for any self-help or for any suicidal thoughts line all over the world. I mean, everywhere. If there was a phone number for it or a website for it, it is on that post. So, we're going to go ahead and roll on to the next one. This one is not safe for work. I am not sure how that first one was not safe for work, but this one says it is. Not safe for work. OOPs. Oh, okay, hold on. Okay, I don't really have, like, an original story title for this one. Bless you, my goodness. So it says, not safe for work. OOP's friends in a relationship invite them to join, become a throuple. It also does say that this is concluded. This was posted in Off My Chest. It says, warning, this is a long story, not safe for work, TLDR at the bottom. So I, 26F, have two friends, Lexi, 25F, and Dan, 27M, fake names, who are a couple. I've been friends with both of them for about 6 years. They were already dating when I met them. One day, Lexi and Dan threw a party, and we ran out of liquor fast. Me and Dan decided to go get more liquor. On our way to the store, Dan, who was obviously drunk, told me how attractive I've been looking lately, and how he and Lexi wanted to ask me for a threesome, but were too scared to. I shut him down. Obviously, because the situation made me and him alone like this super sus. Later that night, I told Lexi about what he said to me, and she confirmed it and said that she was the one that brought it up to him because they've always been into threesomes and it wouldn't be their first together. I was speechless as she continued to tell me about how she's always been attracted to me. She's bi, by the way, and never asked me to join them before because she didn't want to scare me off or ruin our friendship. I was completely against it at first because, for one, I considered myself to be straight. I've never been with a woman before, and the thought of it made me disgusted, yet curious. She told me that I didn't have to if I didn't want to, but my curiosity ended up getting the best of me. I agreed, and she kept asking if I was sure. Mind you, Dan wasn't in the room while me and her talked about this. So, after everyone had left the party, the three of us were sitting on the couch, and Lexi initiated first contact. She could tell I was shy, and she asked me if she could kiss me. I told her yes. Now the kiss was awkward at first because I've never kissed a woman before. Sidebar. It's almost the same as kissing a guy. Most of the time, kissing somebody, kissing is basically genderless from my experiences. Is there a slight difference when you kiss a man versus when you kiss a woman? Yes. But honestly, I think in the end, it doesn't depend on gender. I think it ends up varying on the person. Like, how dominant they are as a person, or how, like, shy or unsure of what's going on they are in general. I think kissing is genderless, but I think it just depends on the person. Just my personal opinion. Somebody might think differently. I lost my spot. Oh, but I got into it fast, and I liked it. She started to undress me, and eventually Dan joined us, and I was honestly shocked at how big Dan was. We tried every threesome position they knew, and they were gentle with me and kept telling me I can stop whenever I wanted. I told them I didn't want to stop, and let me tell you, it was the best sex I ever had. They were both amazing. When we finished, I slept on the spare bedroom. It just is odd. I think it means in. And they slept together in their bed. When I woke up the next day, I felt so guilty and embarrassed about it. The liquor wore off, and so many thoughts were running through my head. Did Lexi mean what she said? Will she be jealous that I enjoyed having sex with Dan? Will Dan not look at me as one of his best friends anymore? Why did I enjoy Lexi's hands and mouth on my body so much? Did they even enjoy it as much as I did? Does this mean I'm bisexual now? Just so many thoughts at once. Okay, so far my only complaint about the way they went about this is the fact that they were drunk, or at least under the influence while talking about it and doing it for the first time. I feel like if they had sobered up, talked about it, and then maybe gotten a little drunk to help kind of like loosen things up for everybody, and like not like completely blackout drunk, but I mean like a couple of drinks, you know, just kind of make everybody relaxed and then go into it, I feel like that would be different. But I feel like they talked about it drunk and did it drunk. I feel like that makes it it's a little sus for me. I eventually shook these thoughts away and grew the courage to leave the room. They were already up waiting for me in the kitchen. They greeted me like last night didn't happen. We ate breakfast and had our usual banter. Lexi asked me how I felt about last night. I stuttered and I told her it was alright, and I continued to gobble down my Frosted Flakes. She proceeded to say jokingly, you know you liked Dan fucking you. You know you liked Dan fucking you. I saw the faces you made. His dick is big, isn't it? Cue the jealousy thoughts coming back. I just knew I fucked up. I guess she noticed how uneasy I felt, and she assured me, OP, it's okay. I'm not mad at you. Me and Dan enjoyed it too. We can't pretend like it didn't happen. Come on, let's talk about it. How did we feel, and what was our favorite part? I'll go first. My favorite part was eating you out while Dan behind me, and I feel like for your first time with a woman, you're a natural. Then, Dan said his favorite part was going back and forth, hitting us both from the back while me and her kissed. When it was my turn, I said my favorite part was when you were both eating me out together. I love how you guys made me feel comfortable. After we agreed to not let this affect our friendship. Okay, see, I feel like that was a good move, is talking about, like, your favorite parts afterwards of something that made you uncomfortable, because that way you can stop focusing on, okay, like, we did this, and I'm still unsure if I enjoyed myself, but I'm going to focus on the parts I did like and what my favorite part of it was. And I feel like that was a really smart move on Lexi's part, because I'm using air quotes because it's not her real name. So, yeah, I feel like that was a really smart move, and I feel like that kind of makes, just like a smidgen, makes up for the whole, like, doing it and talking about it drunk kind of thing. I became their threesome go-to person, and we began having them regularly for the next 9 months, until the day they pulled a full 180 and popped the question. Like, marriage? Like, we talking sister wives type thing? They invited me over and sat me down. They each took turns expressing how they grew feelings for me and ultimately agreed to ask me together if I wanted to be their girlfriend. Okay, I was really confused for a second. I'm like, are we about to have a sister wives moment? Because, like, holy shit, I didn't think that they were even married yet. Since we were already comfortable with each other and threesomes were normal with us, why not make it official? I was taken aback because I thought we all agreed we wouldn't let this affect our friendship. I told them I had to think about it and left. That was 2 days ago. Since then, they've both been texting me saying this is what they were afraid of. They didn't want to scare me away and lose me. I assured them both they didn't lose me. I just needed some time to think. So bless you, I can completely understand that because, sorry, I'm adjusting. Because it's going from, like, just something casual to now being in a serious relationship. And if that was something that they'd want to do when they, how do I want to put this? Like, what if she doesn't want to be what if her idea of being in a relationship is eventually leading to marriage? Like, maybe OP doesn't take relationships, like, just as, like, fun and games. Like, it's something that it's like, if I'm in a relationship with somebody and I have a label on it, I'm building towards something, marriage, kids, something like that. Whereas, like, if you're just doing something casually with, ow, fuck, Dusty bit me on the wrist really hard. When it's something casual, it's like everybody gets something out of it, but you don't have to worry about, like, if you find somebody that you want to that you have feelings for, you can be like, okay, hey, like, I found somebody, it's been fun, but, you know, this was just a casual thing. That's what I'm thinking of. But we're gonna go on and see what else she says. Now that I've been alone, I can't stop thinking about during the 9 months, anytime we went out clubbing or to a party, I would get really jealous when I saw them dancing with someone else, even though I had no right to feel that way. I guess I have grown separate feelings for them both. I really don't want to lose either of them by telling them no, and I don't know if I'm ready for my first polyamorous relationship. Come here. Get that. I should add that they both had their own unique way of expressing their feelings for me. Dan told me that he's never felt this close to me these past few months as he is now, and not just because of the sex, but because he wants to keep me and Lexi safe. He doesn't want to see me with anybody else, and he wishes some nights to lay in bed with us both and just cuddle us. Lexi, however, said that there are days where she can't stop staring at me and admiring my beauty, and she even imagined what our lives would be like with marriage and both of us being pregnant at the same time. What should I do? Edit. I forgot to mention, even though we've been having these regular threesomes, I haven't come to full terms with my sexuality, and I don't want to jump into a relationship with them knowing I can't give them my all, not just my body. They deserve so much better than that. TLDR. My friends asked me for a threesome, and it became a regular thing for us. It was the best sex I've ever had. We agreed not to let it ruin our friendship until they pulled a 180 and asked me to be their girlfriend and profess their love for me, and I'm not sure what to do about it. This is a relevant comment from the original poster. It says, the only thing I've never actually came out as bisexual or even accepted the possibility, really, and I know it sounds stupid since it's been going on for so long, and my family and other friends don't really know yet. It's been a secret between the three of us for now. In response to boundaries and interests and pursuing the relationship, this is a comment that OOP had. I do want to go for it, but I haven't come to full terms with my sexuality yet. even though this has been going on for months. I don't want to go into a relationship with them yet, knowing I'm not able to give my full self to them and not just my body. Which, I mean, I feel like she said that in the story, so the fact that she feels like she has to repeat it is kind of dumb. So we get an update. Oh, I forgot to say something. Or I forgot to say, this was originally posted December 7th of 2022. So we get an update 2 days later, which is December 9th. And I just passed it. There it is. Here's a little update. I realized you only live once, and I truly don't care what people think about me. So here's my coming out. I am officially bisexual. I'm smiling so hard while typing this out, and I accepted the fact that I was bisexual before I met up with them. Now to the real update. I invited Lexi and Dan over, and they were happy to see me, and God, did I miss them too, even if it was only a couple of days since I'd seen them. The first half, I did most of the talking, followed by some of your guys' advice, and told them everything I was feeling. The jealousy, the sexuality confusion, I just laid it all on the table, and I told them that I love them both deeply, as friends, but I do have strong feelings for them both. I feel like the three of us are compatible sexually and mentally. I asked them some questions, and they had an answer for each one. The conversation is still fresh, so I may miss some points that were made. Question 1. If I join this relationship and we become a throuple, would I be here just for sex, or would it be more emotional? I guess that's best for what I was thinking. For example, decision making, going on dates, you know where I'm getting at. Because I would hate to be a third wheel if we were to make this serious. Lexi's answer. Well, OP, to start off, the sex is great, but that's not why we asked you to be our girlfriend. You make us genuinely happy. You've been our friend for 6 years, so you've seen us at our best and worst times. We can both come to you separately about problems like friends, work, family, and you're always there to listen. You always put others first, even when they don't deserve it. Dan chimes in. She's right, OP. Your compassion for others is one of your most attractive traits, and we don't want you to feel like the third wheel. We want you to be with us fully, no jealousy, no special treatments. You've been with us from the beginning, and we honestly never thought of asking anyone else to be a throuple with us. Question 2. If one of us is out of town or at work and the other two decide they want to have sex, will that be a problem? Will there be a jealousy involved, or would we have to wait for all three of us to be together to have sex? Dan, if you two decide to have sex while I'm at work, I wouldn't mind at all. The rest of his answer is kind of fuzzy. Lexi, I wouldn't mind either. Being in a serious relationship does involve sex, so that wouldn't be a problem with us. And if one of us do have a problem with it, me and Dan are good with communication. We'll speak on it, and hopefully you will too. The conversation was very long to type everything out, but we also talked about boundaries. 1, no sleeping with other people outside of the throuple, make time for each other, go on dates, be adventurous, communication. I did do a lot of Googling on successful throuples before we talked, but I wanted to explain to you guys exactly how I feel about Lexi and Dan. Lexi is sexy, kind, bold, and she doesn't take shit from anyone. Hey, no, leave it. If she has a problem with you, you'll know, LOL. Overall, she's just an amazing person. You can never have a dull conversation with her, and I will always respect her asking me if she could kiss me for the very first time during the first threesome. I've never been with a woman, sexually or romantically, before her, and I wouldn't wish to be with anybody else but her. My best friend turned girlfriend. Oh my god, this sounds like a movie, LOL. Now for Dan. He is strong, protective, kind, and hot. A big teddy bear. I've never had a male friend I could confide in the way I could confide in him. He's a great listener. Oh. And from what I've seen with him and Lexi over the past 6 years, he's very romantic. I feel safe with them, and I hope they feel safe with me too. I decided to do this with them, but we are taking it slow. I will continue to live in my apartment, and we will visit each other frequently. I'm not thinking of marriage just yet. I know Lexi brought it up before, but I don't want to think that far ahead. At least not yet. And we both live in the US, and from my understanding, that is illegal here. But we'll figure it out in the long run. But that's it. We're really doing this, and I couldn't be happier. We have our first date planned for next Saturday. We agreed to let Dan do the planning for that. I know it sounds so cliche, but I wouldn't be surprised to be met with rose petals, a romantic dinner, champagne, etc. Like I said before, Dan is a serious romantic, but that's the update. Also, a commenter said that I should consider writing, and they wouldn't be the first person to tell me that. But fortunately for me, I love nursing and helping people more. I'm currently in school to be an RN. And for the creeps that keep DMing me, stop asking for photos of me and Lexi and proof of our threesome. Some people are truly disgusting. I will never understand why people do that. It's just kind of fucking lame. I don't know if we're gonna do this one. I had it, and then it's like, I was hoping I would have more funny ones, but like so far the two that we've had so far have been like fairly serious. Not that that's not a bad thing, but it's one of those things where it's like I would like to have something a little bit more normal for us, which is a little bit more like on the funny side. And this one is hella long. I did not realize how long this one was. It's got like 3 parts to it, or at least so far. Okay. So this one is also not safe for work. This is a very not safe for work episode. But I mean, I feel like at the same time with this being an extra long episode, it's kind of fitting. And I was wishing he would fall asleep by now instead of me having to play with him this whole freaking time. It's been 30 minutes! Almost 40. OP starts cheating after finding out that her husband never stopped seeing his affair partner, part 1. This was originally posted in r/adultery. The trigger warning is cheating. So, link to the original post. AP equals affair partner. D-Day, the day the person finds out their partner is cheating. And it was first posted February 6th of 2022. It just says, anyone else like me? Question. I grew up in a religious family, religious community, married my husband young. He was my first and only. Had 4 kids, stayed at home to raise them, and did an excellent job. I was happy and I thought I had a good and solid marriage. The sex was good and frequent until I discovered my devoted and loving husband cheated after 20 years. This was 4 years ago. I stayed. At first I stayed because I loved him and for our family, but after learning he was still cheating, something in me gradually changed. He still thinks I don't know and is compensating me with gifts, getaways, and attention. The truth is, I don't really care anymore. And the reason I don't care anymore is because I'm having an affair of my own. There, I said it. The man I am involved with is younger. He is single. I know it's only sex, but this man has literally awakened me. I know I am playing with fire, and I am the biggest hypocrite alive, but I can't stop myself. After being with one man all my life, I am starting to discover parts of me I never knew existed, and I love it. How many of you have had affairs and know for a fact your wife or husband does too? This is post 2, Sunday is a sinner's best day, and this was posted the 13th of February, same year. I am awake in the middle of the night, and I think about the day ahead. The bedroom is filled with light snoring from my husband. In 5 hours, we will wake up. He will shower. I will make eggs and coffee for breakfast. We will both eat in silence and scroll our phones. We will talk about going for Sunday Mass and agree that we can skip this Sunday, pandemic and all. The noon will be spent gardening, me, and running errands, him. He will come home, change, and pack his golfing gear. He goes golfing every Sunday. My husband, I don't know, that was such a weird sentence. It says he goes golfing every Sunday, my husband. What he really does is see his AP, affair partner. Of course, he does not know that I know that. I told him that I would bake pecan pie. It is spelled with a K. It says it's spelled P-E-A-K-A-N. That is not how you spell pecan pie. We call it peckin, for the record, like, just to make fun of the way that different people say it, because, like, there are some people that argue that it's spelled pecan, some people, or not spelled, but that it's said pecan, some people argue that it's spelled pecan. So just to throw some chaos in there, me and my husband call it peckin. So, like, anytime we see him, we call him peckins. And I might just start saying that if that word comes up again. After he leaves, I will go to my AP's house. The afternoon will be filled with some bed-breaking activities. I will come home before my husband to start making dinner, spent and deliciously sore. That same evening, husband will tell me all about his golfing while eating the pie I baked just hours ago last night while he was at his mother's. Sunday can't come fast enough. Edit. So many of you sent me messages asking how my Sunday went. Well, it went according to plan. Almost. The dildo we ordered was too big, so we ordered a smaller one. Should arrive just in time for our next meetup. Countdown until Friday. But do not worry, we made up for it in spades with some wine and roleplay. Who knew I got off on being dominant? Post 3, secret credit card, PayPal. This was posted on Valentine's Day of the same year. Some advice, please. My AP pays for all of our fun extracurricular activities. I would like to pitch in and contribute equally between the sexes and all. Plus, I will be sticking it up his bum this Friday, so I kind of feel obligated. That's a fair assessment. Anyways, in my grown-up regular life, I always pay with my joint credit card. Closest ATM is an hour drive from home, so cash is not an option. An hour? Do you guys live in, like, bumfuck nowhere? Like, that's crazy to be, like, an hour from any ATM, like, at all. Ow. No. Any suggestions on how to pay my AP? PayPal, get a new credit card, or is that too risky? Love to hear how you all do it. Part 4. No, you leave stuff alone down there. A tiny word of wisdom from a mom to her daughter. This was 2 days later on the 16th of February, 2022. My oldest daughter has been dating a very nice young man for 3 years now. Last evening, on our doggy walk, she shared some thoughts on her future plans that involved marriage to this nice young gentleman. She hinted that he will propose to her soon, probably before the summer. She then went on about how proud she was that they are saving themselves for marriage, unlike so many young people today that don't value this and that. Horny little devils. I come from a semi-religious household and community. So does my husband. We raised our family in the same spirit. Anyway, so I listened to her for the duration of our walk, and even if I was not surprised at what she told me, I was quite sad that she was following in my footsteps. Once we reached our front door, I could not hold in my thoughts any longer, so I told her that she should not entertain the idea of marriage before she has lived with a man, popped a few of his kids, and survived raising at least one toddler on a bare minimum wage, and had to live through at least 2 libido droughts. She was laughing at this point, but I was on a roll. Then I told her never to buy a car until you took it out for a test drive, and if you don't like the ride, go test drive some more rides until you find the one that is the right fit for you. I told my daughter that what it all comes down to, marriage is the biggest investment anyone can make in a lifetime. Did you get all hyped up for no reason? Goodness. No one is wise enough to make one until they have some good years of adult life under their belt. Ow. She was a bit confused and horrified at my response. But look at you and Dad, she told me. You guys obviously made the right choice when you were young. Oh, sweet girl. If you only knew what I would have told my younger self if that was possible. Purpose of this post, ladies and gentlemen, if your mother or father offers you life wisdom, take it into serious consideration. They might be onto something. Post 5, when I take the reins. Can you chill, please? Lay down. I don't know why he's being so crazy right now. It's kind of annoying, I'm not gonna lie. You can't go down there. No, you're gonna knock stuff over. This was posted on February 19th of 2022. Warning, contains pegging. For you loyal groupies who read my post on here, no, Friday was the day. My AP's ass got busted, and no, I am not talking about D-Day. Dusty, you can't go down there. Okay, go over that way. I'm hoping he's gonna go right for the door. All right, we're gonna pause this real quick. And I will be right back. So we're probably gonna have more than one part. So yeah, I will be right back. Okay, we're back. Dusty, get out of my spot. Okay. I have no idea. He did not poop, so I have no idea how long it's gonna stay. But yeah, we're just gonna go back into it. Okay, I apologize for that. We are back. I slightly was interrupted a little bit in that last one. Somebody had to go outside to go to the bathroom. Hopefully I don't have to stop again for a little while, or at least until we are done. But we are gonna pick back up. We are into post 5, when I take the reins, and this was posted February 19th of 2022, and it says warning, contains pegging. For you loyal groupies who read my posts on here know that Friday was the day. My AP's ass got busted, and no, I'm not talking about D-Day. It was the day my 33-year-old AP's lost his ass virginity, and it was amazing for both of us. It was unlike anything I have ever experienced before. At first, I did not know what to make of it. To say it felt strange, looking at myself in the mirror, a married mother of 4, strapped around the waist with a black rubber dong hanging down would be an understatement. We both laughed at first, laughed at first, and I was even doing my first helicopter performance. I'm not gonna lie, if I ever had a strap-on or was in that position, I would do the exact same thing. If you know what I mean. But once we got into the lube and groove of it all I can say is, oh my Lord. The rush of being in charge of his pleasure and the rush of being in charge overall to set the pace, to read his response, and above all, the privilege of having him put that trust in me. I have no words to describe that feeling. For the first time in my life, I got a sense of what it must be like to fuck like a man. And it got me thinking, if I was born a man, who would I be? After the fun was over, I just had to do it. Could not help myself. I treated my lover to 2 donuts. One you eat and one you sit on, if you know what I mean. Post 6. How to help your SO see his AP. This one was posted another 2 days later, the 21st of February of 2022. For those of you who follow my posts, know my husband has an AP. I have an AP. Difference is I know about his AP. He has no clue about mine. Sunday is hubby's golfing day, and by golfing, I mean it is his day to fornicate with his AP. And when he goes golfing, I get to see my AP. Golfing is his only excuse, by the way. You guys diversify. Saturday evening, we watch the news, and gasp, heavy rain is predicted in our area. I see hubby is not happy. Heavy rain with possible thunder equals no golfing. Enter sulk, sigh, sulk, sulk. Him, there goes golfing, I guessed, followed by a loud sigh. I guess he is staying at home. What is a horny for her AP wifey to do? The next morning after breakfast, I tell him I have a surprise for him. I know he has been working hard lately and needs a day off to relax on just his own. I tell him I have booked him a ticket to see the new Matrix movie that he wanted to see. The nearest theater is at least a 1-hour drive. I calculated that the movie is a 2.5 hours and add to that at least 2-hour drive and 1 extra hour so he makes it on time. Oh, I also booked it at the far end of the nearest city for good measure. Extra driving for him. I see his face light up. He is doing the calculations too. I can feel a pinch of guilt on his part. This is a nice gesture, earns me a hug, puppy eyes of gratitude, kiss, and some well-chosen words of endearment that would make any wife's heart melt. As I watch hubby drive off, I start burning rubber to my AP's casa. 3 orgasms later, I head home to start dinner, and I think must have earned me the Wife of the Year award. Now, if my husband ever complains I don't meet his needs, I can draw his memory back to a rainy Sunday I made sure his AP gave him a blowjob. Every man should have a wife like me. A double emoji. Post 7. Time to reflect. This one comes quite a bit later. It's not another 2 days. This one gets posted March 9th. The past 2 weeks have been a roller coaster and I need some time to just breathe. So I did something I never did before. I booked myself a night at a fancy spa hotel. No hubby, no kids, no pets, no AP, just me. I made a decision to switch my phone to airplane mode and not give in to distractions. Treated myself to some pampering, lazed about in the bed, and just let my mind wander. Had a glass of wine or 2. Okay, 4. I started thinking about my body and how self-conscious I was about my body when I was younger. How I found faults with just about everything except my boobs and my long legs, mainly because my hubby always complimented those. It dawned on me that I viewed my body through the eyes of my husband and not myself. When I started my affair, I wondered what AP thought of my body. Why was he going crazy over a body that was not in its prime and that had birthed 4 big kids? Depressing, I know. Apart from quick glances after coming out of the shower, have I ever really looked at my body? After finishing off my 4th glass of wine, I took off my clothes, walked to the mirror, and just stared. I then dragged the blankets from the bed and put them on the floor. I lay there for 2 hours, taking in every part of my body, every angle. I followed every curve with my gaze, and I started to cry. Tears of joy. To finally have found the courage to look at the body that has sustained me, nurtured me, given me pleasure, and 4 beautiful children. We have gone through a lot, my body and I. It has never failed me. I saw a body that had the most beautiful curves and smooth skin, and let me tell you about my feet. They are perfect. Beautifully aligned toes, small and smooth. During those 2 hours, I fell in love with myself. In those moments, I realized why my AP was crazy about my body. And I also realized something very important. No matter what age, you are always in your prime. In the future, it won't matter what my husband or anyone else thinks about my body, because I don't need to look at myself through someone else's lenses anymore. I am beautiful, and I know it now, finally. The next day, I got myself a petty and a pair of expensive pink sandals. My feet are so worth showing off. Oddly, I am developing a foot fetish for my own feet now. So, ladies and gents, next time you can spare a few minutes, look at your body and take it all in. Be grateful for it. Love it. It loves you. I cannot see myself doing that in any sense of the word anytime soon, because I hate my body. I have hated my body since I was very, 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 very young. So I will not be gazing at myself naked in the mirror anytime soon. Post 8, high on life and ecstasy and LSD. This comes almost a whole month later on April 4th of the same year. 2 weeks ago, an opportunity presented itself, and I was able to spend 2 days and 1 night with AP. Him being a DJ and raver suggested we get high, and me being the new version of myself thought, why the heck not? Enter 2 little blue pills and a small piece of paper to lick. You're fine. Here. What I experienced was one of the most beautiful and heartbreaking moments of my life. Will you stop trying to chew my hair? He's such a butt. What I experienced was one of the most beautiful and heartbreaking moments of my life, and who better to tell you than my adulterous friends? Oh, and who better to tell than you, my adulterous friends? The good. I don't even know where to begin to describe the most beautiful experience I got to share with my AP. My guard was completely down and my emotions soaring. The honest, heartfelt conversations, the privilege to listen to the most amazing and genuine man entrust me his deepest thoughts and fears, the heightened sensations, him touching my skin and making love, feeling every inch of him in my body, breathing in his smell and taking in his moans, deeply looking in his eyes, listening to his heartbeat, closely watching his tattoos come to life, thanks LSD, and admiring his beautiful body, being fully present with another being heart, body, and soul. This day will forever be engraved in my memory as one of the most beautiful and intimate moments of my life. For the record, I was able to orgasm, which I was told is unusual when high on E and LSD, so let me tell you, I almost fainted. Oh, and one of the funniest things, I went to the bathroom, and when I came back, AP was deep in a why are words hard for me? I swear to God. Philosophical conversation with his cat. Now I know why he named him Socrates. The bad. There was this nagging at me in the back of my head, and it just came crashing down, coming to the realization that what I shared with my AP that day, I will never share with my husband. After his affair came to light years ago, things between us changed. I could never pin down what for sure, just that something was missing. And now I know. What I lost in my marriage is the ability to be vulnerable with my husband, and that things between us will never be what they once were. This realization hit me in the shower. This heart-wrenching sob erupted out of the blue. I could hardly breathe. My AP didn't question me. It's almost as if he was waiting for this moment. He just rinsed me off, dried me off, and held me in his arms. Let it all out. I got you. You are safe with me, he told me. And I did. In that moment, I let out the pain I had been holding since finding out about my husband's affair. I cried and cried before, but never like this. That day, the happiest and saddest day of my life, I came to realize that 1, there are beautiful things in life and beautiful people to share them with. 2, my marriage is no longer serving me or meeting my needs. Aftermath. I have been feeling down lately. There is a decision to be made. My husband sees something is not right. He keeps randomly hugging and kissing me, doing more things around the house. I just feel numb and I am in a bit of a funk. Who knew drugs would have the ability to unlock some hard truths about my life that I was afraid to face, and saddest truth of them all, that is about to turn my life upside down. I have fallen out of love with my husband, and I don't want to reconcile anymore. This next one is post 9. It says, my husband's AP, April 11th, 2022. And it looks like we are almost done with the story. In a single year, is a single younger lady. Oh, okay. Sorry. So it's just the way sometimes OOP words this story, it just is confusing for a second. So it says, my husband's AP is a single younger lady. She has been in my husband's life for 5 years and counting. One thing I don't understand and would like some insight into this, maybe some of you single APs can answer this one. Ever since they got caught years back, she is stalking my social media. Even more crazy is that she has changed her clothing to match mine. I have a particular style. She colored her hair and cut it like mine, even took on a hobby I am into. It's creepy. Any insight as to why she would do this? Okay, so this is the first time I feel like I've had anything to really say about this story. One, I'm fairly certain it's because she feels like if she's more like you, she's going to keep your husband longer, like keep him interested, because she thinks that that's what you're into, when obviously it's not what he's into because he's cheating. So we have mutual friends. One of them know of the affair. She said AP loves kids and talks about getting married and starting her own family. But she's close to 40, I think, and the clock is ticking. Why is she wasting her prime years on a man that is a cake eater? He's trying to say he's fat? Like, I can't tell if she's trying to say he's fat or that he eats ass, because honestly, I don't fucking know anymore. This situation makes me uneasy. On one hand, she's an adult and can make her own choices, but I must admit, this situation makes me angry at my husband. I mean, to obviously lie and string her along when he should A, leave me for her, or B, let her go. My AP is younger than me, and I know I will let him go one day soon, so he can find a more suitable woman he can settle down with and have kids of his own. That, to me, is selfless, but what my husband is doing to his AP is selfish beyond words. I know, maybe some of you think I should place anger on her too. I mean, she is the other woman, but from a woman to a woman, I feel sorry for her. No man is worth giving up years of your life and live on hope. That's very, very true. I feel like I had wanted kids since I was 5. Ever since I was a really, 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 really little kid, all I ever wanted was to be a mom. And I said this for years. I just want to be a mom. I just want to be a mom. That's all I want. I just want to be a mom. I don't want a job. I just want to be a mom. That's my job. And I felt like I always wanted to be a young mom. Like, have all 4 of my kids by the time I was 25. So that way, you know, like, they're all, like, within, like, close years to each other. They're all starting school close to each other. They can keep an eye out for each other when they're in school. And that way, then when I was in my 30s and my 40s, like, I could go out and I could have fun and I could do the things that I want to do, but with adult money when I'm more established. And I feel like I wasted a lot of that on 2 different guys that just thought I was stupid and would play me. So I definitely feel where OOP is coming from with feeling like her husband is just kind of being selfish with his AP. I never thought I would feel like this sympathetic to cheaters, so it's a weird feeling for me. This really made me think if I should let hubby known I know of his affair just to push him off the fence. I mean, I am fine if we divorce. I am fine if we don't. He strung this woman this woman along for years, and let me tell you, my hubby is both charming and handsome. At least he should grow some balls and make a decision to be with her or let her go. It is obvious she's so in love with him. My husband, on the other hand, I highly doubt his feelings for her are as strong. Any insight? Advice? This has been nagging me for days now. Honestly, I think that if you are no longer gaining anything, like anything positive from your marriage, leave. If you say you're just going to be just as fine if you stay or divorce, then leave. For one, I think eventually it will all come out. Stuff like this always does. And is this something that you want your children to find out about through the grapevine and find out how you both strung each other along, both cheated on each other for years, when if you both weren't happy, you just could have fucking left? That's something that I will never understand. That's something that bothers me about this story. You both have other people, but continue to stay married to each other. And I'm not saying, like, the OOP wants to leave her husband for her AP, which obviously she doesn't. She said that she doesn't. But I just feel it's stupid. Like, you can still, like, be single and still have your AP. It just wouldn't be an AP anymore. It would just be a fuck buddy. So, like, why do this to yourself of, like, the somewhat guilt and, like, the whole experience that you had with the LSD? Like, why put yourself through that, like, pain and emotional discomfort for a fucking man that doesn't give a flying fuck about you, obviously? That's... We're not done! Fucking hell. Yeah, that's what I think. This is a long one, guys. So now we are at part 10. There was another part of this that I forgot that there was. It says OP starts cheating after finding out her husband never stopped seeing his affair partner, part 2. Which, Jesus fucking Christ. Part 10. My lover's scent drives me wild, April 18th, 2022. For as long as I can remember, I have had a heightened sense of smell. It is one of the reasons why I love having so many plants and flowers in my home. I also love the smell of tea. Not to drink, but the smell of dry tea is the best. Also, it bugs... Bubby, come here. Why don't you come over here? Instead of whining and complaining. Here. What drives me crazy is, like, some of the grammar that OP uses. And she also spells tea, like the tea you drink, T-E-E. It is T-E-A. Sorry, I had to say something. Oh my goodness. He whines when he is tired and trying to get comfortable. So yeah, enjoy some puppy ASMR. You're fine. Lay down, go sleep. One of the early red flags that my husband was cheating on was through his scent. He just smelled off. It's so strange to explain. I even washed his clothes to try and wash off that odor, and it was me. I think he has to poop again. Okay, I'm gonna pause this again, and I will... Here, puppy. We're back again. Okay. You're back again. And he did poop, so hopefully he can just lay down and go sleep now. Lay down, go sleep. It was still watery, but he's good. He's still staying hydrated. He's still the same as just watery poops. No, come lay down. Leave the kitty alone. Dusty, come in. Come on. Come here. Come lay down. Come lay down by mommy. I know. Come on. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. We are back once again. Hopefully this will be the last. That was the last interruption, although something's telling me it will not be. Yeah, so we are going to go ahead and do this once again. I'm just going to restart over. Oh, no, I know where I was at. One of the early red flags that my husband was cheating was through his scent. He just smelled off. It is so strange to explain. I even washed his clothes trying to wash off that odor and was beginning to think he was sick or something. After his affair got discovered and we started the reconciliation process, I could easily sense when he started cheating again by this smell. Isn't that strange? I never told him this, so I keep it in my back pocket. No matter how good his OSPEC is, he can't hide his guilt. I have no idea what that stands for. Absolutely no idea. My lover's scent drives me absolutely wild. I recall the first time I sensed it. I think you're supposed to I think you're supposed to say you smelled it, not you sensed it, but we were driving in his car long before we started anything. It was a hot day, and he rolled down his windows, and I picked up his scent through the draft. I remember inhaling deep just to memorize his male scent with a mixture of wood and soap. I remember feeling embarrassed and guilty for how turned on I was by him. That short rise, I fantasized of him putting his hands on my knee and slowly pulling it higher up my thigh. I masturbated many times recalling that day. Even now, I can't wait to hug him just to inhale the smell of his neck. After sex, I love putting my head on his chest and just breathe him in while he is still sweaty. I am so in lust, I can't even imagine feeling this way again for someone else. If only I could tap his scent into a bottle, I would store it and use it to get off whenever I am in my 80s. Laughing emojis. Haha, now I am a pervert too. Post 11. What I see when I look at you. April 20th, 2022. So we're back to the 2 days later posts. His perspective. A man who does not do well in relationships, who failed to get a higher education, who lived with his dad until late 20s, who worked odd jobs here and there without any direction for most of his life, who prioritized having fun over real life, a man who with no substantial wealth, no wife, no kids. My perspective. My lover is unique in every way, from the way he dresses to the way he lives. Come on, you're okay. From the way, who follows his heart and not the mainstream mass. A kind man who deeply cares for the people he loves. Someone who is not afraid to try and fail. Someone who is passionate about the things he loves. A man that is not afraid to walk away when things don't feel right. My lover is a man that appreciates simple life, that does not worry about the latest, I think it means latest, it just says lates, phone models, or cars. A man who you can count on. A man with integrity. He is by no means rich, but he is wealthy in all the ways that matter. A woman will one day be lucky to call this man hers. That kind of sums it all up. Post 12. I know what I want now. May 5th, 2022. For the past few months, I have been toying with the idea of an open marriage. I read up about it, so I know that it takes more trust to be open compared to being closed. So that is out the window for my husband and me. Not that he would agree to it. He is not into sharing. Anyways, but then something very interesting happened. Over the weekend, we had a family reunion of sorts. We had a family reunion of sorts. It was the first time my mom and dad were in the same room since their divorce. My dad left my mom for another woman when she hit menopause. My mom has found love again in the most amazing man. My dad is single. As long as I can remember, my mom always catered to my dad. She was always going out of her way to make his life comfortable, and she invested a great deal into her marriage and family. To say that she was heartbroken when my dad left is an understatement. I noticed that I carried the same dynamic into my marriage. My husband's needs almost always came ahead of mine. I feel like a wife appliance more than an equal partner, and I see how I have contributed to that dynamic. I think she's talking about when she had that conversation with her daughter. So, during this reunion, I noticed something funny. My mom, who, while she was married to my dad, was always on her feet cooking, fetching stuff or whatnot, was sitting a lot of the time. Her SO and she would cater to each other rather equally. Both of them had the time to enjoy talking to family, not just one of them. The way her SO was touching her back, holding her hand, and smiling when she was talking, paying attention to her, filling her glass of wine, the banter between these two, 80 plus year olds, was amazing and beautiful to watch. And it hit me. My mom is happy. I think she has found the love of her life at the ripe age of 70. And she found somebody who truly sees her and appreciates her. So these two lovebirds have kind of made me change my mind about an open marriage and what I want in a relationship going forward. So here it is. I want a full relationship, monogamy and all. The thought of sharing my husband does not bother me, but the thought of sharing AP does. Open marriage and sharing is not for me. I want a man who appreciates me for me and not for what I can do for him. And I have sadly came to the realization that this is not something I want to have with my husband. So, my friends, I will stew this over the summer, but after the summer and all the kids are out of the nest, I have decided to pull the plug on my marriage. It's scary, exciting, and everything in between. Now I will start getting my ducks in a line. Wish me luck. Post 13, threesomes. May 7th, 2022. A fantasy of mine. Friday night, a married woman walks into the bar with her AP. They have a glass of wine, they talk, they laugh, they flirt. One table down, the woman sees another woman watching them. She is dressed in a sexy black dress. The two women make eye contact, and it's on from there. She walks up to the sexy woman dressed in black, offers to buy her a drink, and asks her to join her AP and her. She does. 2 more glasses of wine and 3 cocktails later, the party of 3 leave the bar and take a taxi to AP's house. It turns out the woman has a thing for watching people fuck. She sat on the couch and watched me and AP fuck. Just too bad I never got to fuck her. I always wondered how a woman's pussy tastes like. Oh well, next time I suppose. Now, how does one go about to make this happen IRL? So, it was just a fantasy. It didn't actually happen. Post 14, bitch boots are staying on. May 17th. Before embarking on my affair journey, I was a timid creature, passive even. Since starting my affair, I have become more assertive and dare I say, dominant. My AP loves this side of me in the bedroom. He told me I must have been a general in my previous life. Quite frankly, I love it too. What I did not anticipate is how this characteristic has manifested itself in my real life. Before the affair, if I wanted my husband to, let's say, cut the grass, I would frame it like, sweetheart, when you find the time today, would be great if you could cut the grass, thanks. Since the affair, I am way more like, XXX, I expect you to cut the grass today. Do it before you need to drive the kids to XYZ. Even my husband has noticed my new persona. He told me the other day, you are very bossy lately. I must say I find this forward-cutting, the bullshit type of communication so liberating. This affairing business has turned me into a brand new woman, and I love it. Anyone relate? Edit, sorry for the grammar, on the phone and typing in a hurry. Post 15, things are getting out of hand. June 4th. I don't know what to make of this. My husband has done a complete flip. He is home more, helps out more around the house, pays interest, compliments me, makes plans for us to spend time, more affectionate, more open, sharing his thoughts and feelings. He started speaking to a therapist a few months ago. Last night he asked me to return to MC. No more golfing for him. I think he and AP broke up. I don't know what MC means, so this makes it hard for me to see my AP, and I miss him, but I don't want to take risks meeting him. But I so desperately want to just hug him and talk to him, laugh with him, and just let my guard down. To top it all off, 2 weeks ago, he said he needed to be honest and tell me he was finding this whole arrangement hard because he has strong feelings for me. I kind of froze and said we need a breather and to take a step back. The last thing I need now is another layer to this situation, but I really miss him and I hope he is doing okay. I find myself faking it around my husband and it's wearing me down. I am making up excuses to get out of the house and for not wanting to have sex. It's hard to fake it all when my heart of hearts, I know I am done with this relationship. No MC in the world will make me change my mind. All the efforts my husband is putting in now are just a little late for me. I have no idea what MC stands for. I feel like it's something about the marriage, but I'm just not putting 2 and 2 together, I guess. This past month, wow, words are hard. I reached one of my financial goals and am one step closer to ending my marriage. I think for my sanity, I will need to pull the plug soon. Talked to a few lawyers already and need to go with one. Ugh, I am sitting in my car in my garage and I just want out of this situation. When you are done, you are done. Sorry, just a bit depressed and needed to vent. Just fired my therapist. June 6th, 2022. Well, if things are not complicated enough, I just kind of fired my therapist. She's been my safe haven going back 5 years and has helped me to gradually detach from my husband and put more energy into me. Or so I thought. I used to love her advice, but this past week a light went on in my head. So I told her about my own affair. I thought for sure she would scold the living hell out of me, but nope, no critical questions, just validation. And boom, I had the realization this woman was not challenging me, like, at all. She was just validating all the bullshit I bring to her. So, yeah, how could I have missed this for 5 years? For $170 an hour, I could be making $170 an hour? Goddamn. I'm joking. I don't need a parrot nodding to whatever I say. I need a therapist that will challenge me, question me, put me on the spot, make me sweat in my seat. If I needed somebody to just nod, not judge, and ask follow-up questions, I could just pay for dinner and drinks and confide in a friend. Would have been cheaper. Facts. Why is it so hard to find a therapist? What is love anyway? June 29th. I am in love with you. I love you. This is not healthy for me or for us, and I can't do this anymore. The words I have dreaded hearing ever since starting this affairing business with this man. He told me last night that he loves me and called it quits, and I am falling apart. I always knew I fell deeply in lust with him, but love never dared to go there. But feeling what I feel now, I am a fool to think I did not fall for this man. I often think I could do this affair thing with any man I find attractive. Nope, only him. And he deserves more than being a dirty little secret. He deserves someone without the divorce baggage that will come with me, and I have to be strong to let him go. Tomorrow is the day. I will sit my husband down and have the big talk about ending our marriage. Wish me luck, you guys. Post 18. Ducks were all lined up, and then, so this comes all the way in the 30th of August, so over a month later. For all of you that follow my affair saga, know that my husband has had an AP. After he took his affair underground, I started my own. I knew about his affair, but he does not know about mine. After some soul searching, I realized that I deserve so much more than a cake-eating husband. So I started to make an exit plan that was to be initiated this summer. So at this point, I have a brand new apartment lined up. Thanks, stepdad. My business is doing great. My own bank account, credit cards, emergency bag packed, etc. All that was left was the talk. I spent weeks preparing my speech and imagining all the ways it could go. To say I was nervous would be an understatement, but then it all went better than planned. 3 weeks ago, Tuesday morning, my husband's AP showed up at my house to once and for all tell me woman to woman what kind of man I am married to. She spilled the beans and then some. It did not put my dear husband in a nice light, to say the least. She was shocked that I was so calm. I didn't even ask any questions, just smiled, frowned, and nodded. You don't have anything to say? She asked over and over. She thought her confessions would make me go nuts. Nope, I know most of it, and it's enough. My husband got wind of this little stunt and raced home. His face turned white when he saw his AP in front of our house. He got her to leave and then just sat there on the front steps of our house, rocking back and forth for like an hour. I think he was the one in shock. I collected some of my things, took my already packed bag, and drove off to my mom's. That evening, my husband called. He did not have many words, just tears. Asked if there was anything that could be done to save us. Said that he was sorry over and over and over. Asked what he can do to make amends. So I told him to agree to an amicable divorce. No fuss, 50-50 split, and some other conditions. He started crying again, and not long after that phone call, the pleading started. He engaged the whole family, his side, even our church leader. But nope, not gonna budge. I must admit, it is mentally draining, but I feel calm and at peace. Just sad that my marriage had to end like this. We really did have it all, my husband and I. I need to learn to put soon-to-be ex next to husband. The kids are not okay. I was worried about this one. This comes October 2nd. I separated from my husband 2 months ago. His AP showed up at our house, and it all went to shit after that. One thing that is really bothering me is our kids. Late teens to early 20s. They know my husband had an affair some years back, and now, thanks to husband's AP stunt, they know the affair went underground. They, hubby included, don't know about my own affair and the role the affair played in my decision to end the marriage. Kids believe my decision to divorce is solely based on my husband's affair. That is partially true, but not fully. The issue is that all 4 of my kids are beyond hurt and disappointed at their dad. Only one speaks to him. The rest refuse to have anything to do with him. They call him disgusting, a disappointment, morally corrupt, fuck up, and much, much more. My husband is beyond sad and remorseful for the ending of our marriage and how the kids treat him. He has lost weight and looks really bad, and I feel so guilty and such shame for keeping this huge secret from them all, my own affair. I don't want my kids to hate their dad. They have a right to their feelings, but I feel somehow responsible for this fallout. I also feel stuck in the middle between my husband and kids. They all vent their frustrations to me, and I feel like such a fake. I know 2 months is a short time to process this life-changing event, but some days I just want to set the record straight and deal with the consequences. My husband has hurt me so much, but I don't have the heart to see him so broken. But yet, I still keep quiet. I feel like a coward. I am a coward. This is so hard. Don't know if I am asking for advice or just venting. Maybe just venting. I am not ready to hear advice. Comments from OP. This is the end of it. I know in my heart what is the right thing to do. Covering my own ass versus owning up to my part. I just need to gather my thoughts and do it with at least amount of collateral damage. I need to tell my husband first, I suppose, but I don't want to have to face questions from him about who my AP is, the extent of our affair, and all the details. I know for a fact he will start digging, and I just don't want my ex-AP to suffer. I broke up with him so he does not get dragged through the drama. My children, too, would likely want to know who my ex-AP was. Also, I think the knowledge of my own affair will not make our divorce amicable. So, if I go to this route, I open up Pandora's box. If I don't go this route, the Pandora's box is always going to be following me like a shadow, threatening to pop up any time. I mean, I think that, honestly, at this point, telling about your AP before the divorce is honestly pointless. It's just going to make things worse for you and your soon-to-be ex-husband in the long run. And then the kids are going to start judging you, and it's just going to kind of be one of those things where you should tell them when you're ready, but after the divorce. Like, I'm not trying to, like, protect a cheater or anything like that, because it's still cheating. Regardless, it was still cheating. But I think that what you should do is just tell him afterwards. Like, maybe when things have calmed down for a little bit, or, like, when the kids are a little bit older, it'd be like, listen, like, I need, like, tell the older ones, and they'll probably end up finding a way to tell everybody. But it's like, listen, like, I knew your dad had been cheating on me all this time. I was doing my own thing. He's not alone in the whole thing, but your dad's not a bad person. I just think something along those lines might help everybody involved. Now we're going to get back to a little bit of our normal type of content. My husband would choose his girl best friend over me any day. This comes from True Off My Chest. I, 29F, got married a year ago yesterday. My husband, 30. It says 30F, but it says husband. So I think it means 30M. And I have been together for 5 years in total. My husband has been best friends with Sasha, 30F, since they were in diapers. I knew that, and I never really had a problem with their friendship until my husband and I officially started dating. Sasha would always try and get between us, and every date we went on, she would be there coincidentally, which was relatively annoying because my husband would let her stay with us on all those dates. Why? Why do you do this? That's literally... Okay, guys, if y'all have a girl best friend, which I'm not saying that's wrong, I'm not saying you can't have a girl best friend, but if your girl best friend starts to impede on your dates, which, unless otherwise specified, is supposed to be between you and the person that you decided to go on a date with, not your girl best friend, stop letting them stay. If you do it, it's like feeding a stray animal. You do it once, they're just gonna keep coming back because they think it's okay. If you don't want it to be a normal thing, don't fucking do it. Now, yesterday was my wedding anniversary, and my husband forgot since he had a road trip with Sasha. I don't like Sasha. I didn't know about this road trip until he said he was leaving. I didn't bother telling him it was our anniversary since he didn't remember and would probably still spend the day with Sasha, even if he did know. I didn't bother telling him bye. I just walked out and decided I was going to go shopping and do something for myself. I did that, but then his mother called me during the day, wishing a happy anniversary, and asked where my husband was because he wasn't answering his phone. I told her the truth about his whereabouts, and he didn't remember our anniversary. She was shocked and told me that she didn't think Sasha and my husband still had feelings for each other. So this motherfucker dated each other. These motherfuckers dated before. Damn, mom dropping the tea. I'd be kind of jealous. I'd be kind of upset that she didn't say anything sooner. Everything started to become more clear now. Maybe he did remember our anniversary, but chose not to say anything because he loved Sasha. If he loved her, Could have told me before we got married. I would have been hurt, but I understand feelings and I know you can't control them. I don't know how to comprehend anything right now. I'm numb and I don't get it. All I know is that my husband doesn't even love me. What a piece of shit. Oh, we have an update to it. Again, I saved these, and again, I just read the titles, and if there's a way to find, like, an update for it, I do, so. All of these I saved are, like, super old, too, so that way they would have, like, a greater chance of having an update if there was one. I really shouldn't have saved that one that we just did, because that one was long as fuck. Update! My husband would choose his girl best friend over me any day. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for the kind words and advice. I really do appreciate it. Although some of you didn't understand the point of my post and started questioning why I married him in the first place, why I didn't set boundaries, and questioned my self-respect. I have all the answers you wanted, as well the update many of you have been asking for. I would like to say that not everyone's life is easy, and not everyone can just get up and leave whenever. Gaslighting, manipulation, and emotional attachments also exist. Sure, some of you wouldn't stand for it and the disrespect, but I did. I made a mistake and I'm owning up to it. I really don't understand what's the point of bashing me like you know the situation. I did come here to rant, and I didn't expect this to blow up like it did. But anyways, I'd firstly like to state that I grew up in the foster care system. My life wasn't the best. When I met my husband, I was overwhelmed and overjoyed at the fact that someone wanted me and liked me. When things started to progress with us, I ignored all of his mistakes because I thought he would be the only person who would accept, I think it's accepted me, but she wrote expected me. I know that it's not an excuse, but honestly, I didn't have a backbone and my self-respect intact either. I was a pushover. It's also the fact that I wasn't in a great place financially and I was just so done with it. I have definitely been in that position, like not necessarily like the financially thing, which, I mean, that's just everyday life for me at this point. But, not having a backbone, not having any self-respect for myself, I've definitely, been that person. I have found myself more this past just year than I have ever thought I would. It's crazy. Some of you asked why I didn't set boundaries with him and Sasha, and it's because they are inseparable, and I was afraid he would leave me for her. I didn't want to be alone again. I wanted to be happy, you know? Some of you people think that I did it because I was desperate. Genuinely speaking, I was so very desperate because I didn't want to lose him. I took it all because I was afraid to live my childhood all over again. I didn't plan coming here and giving my life story, but here I am. Also, I feel like Reddit really needs to understand that you don't need a full explanation about why somebody chose to do something. Like, you just don't. I'm sorry. You shouldn't ever, like, sit there and push somebody so much until they feel the need to, like, spill their life story and every little bit about it. Because I am an oversharer, and I just think it's very unfair to do that to people. Now the most important part that everyone has been waiting for. My husband called me as soon as he got back. I ignored his call since I had to leave for work. I'm pretty sure he called 100 times demanding to know where I was. After work, I went straight to his home. I walked in and behold Sasha sitting on the kitchen counter, chatting to my husband, smiling and laughing. At that moment, I wanted to scream and cry. I hated it. My husband saw me and came up to me asking where the hell I was. I told him we needed to talk and took him upstairs. He asked me what was up. The audacity he had. I've genuinely had enough, so I told him I wanted divorce because he went on a road trip with another woman on our anniversary. I cried and screamed till I couldn't anymore, and all he did was fucking stand there looking at me. I was so frustrated. I asked him if he had anything to say, and all he said was that I shouldn't have yelled like that because Sasha was here and she would be offended if I thought I couldn't trust her. My last fucking straw. I left, and the next time I see him, it's with divorce papers. I'm not going to cry any longer because I deserve better. I'm currently looking for divorce lawyers and will be starting the process as soon as I can. The audacity of that man after all I've done for him. It's clear he chose Sasha because even though she wasn't in the same room as us, he thought of her and her feelings. I broke down in front of him and he fucking thought of her. Again, thank you for the kind messages. I appreciate it so very much. I will keep you all updated. As far as I know, there was not another update. Am I the asshole for divorcing my husband over what my mother-in-law said? Content warning for this one. It does contain racism. I will not be saying any of the racist words because I am the wrong color for that. If there are any. Again, I don't know. This was originally posted, I guess, in the r/2 hot takes post. December 11th of 2022. I, 26, black female, husband, 27, white male, have been together for 5 years. My husband comes from a family that lives comfortably, whereas I had to grind for everything I have. When we got married, his family made me sign a prenup, which is fine. I totally understand sometimes you have to protect yourselves. I made him sign a prenup as well. Good for you. I think a lot of people don't realize that prenups can go both ways. Like, you can have a prenup, like, for just one side of the relationship, but you can also both get a prenup for each other. Or you can have it set up in the prenup, or just the one prenup that covers the both of you. I don't think a lot of people know that. I know I didn't for the longest time. I would say maybe 6 months after getting married, he landed a job in IT in our area. People who work IT make $130K plus a year. God damn. And I was just starting out in my career as a realtor, so I was making $84K a year. We keep our financials separate, which I think makes a lot of sense because a lot of people do that, especially if they have like prenups and stuff like that, until they choose to, or sometimes they will choose to have like a small joint account that they both put into, but their main finances like are their own. My husband was laid off, whereas I was doing virtual meetings and building up clients when I could start my own business. So when we could start meeting in person again, I was selling and fixing houses left and right. So in terms, I surpassed what my husband makes yearly by a lot. So I told my husband how much I was making, and he says, "We are rich now, and I don't have to work anymore." I looked at him like he had two heads. I said, "There is no we, only me. I am rich now, and I don't know about the you not working part. You're still going to work, right?" He said, "Well, I don't have to, and some of the money can go towards my mother's since she's been wanting to redo her house." Excuse the fuck out of me? Excuse the fuck out of me? Absolutely the fuck not. You want to pay to have your mother's house redone? You do it your fucking self. The fucking the caucasity. The caucasity. I just need a moment. Was not prepared for that. I looked at him confused and said, "Are you asking or telling me? Where is the money you made from being in IT?" He said with a straight face, "I am telling you, and my money is mine. Don't worry what I do with it." I fucking can't. I fucking cannot even. Woo! Pardon my Ric Flair impression, but holy fuck. Plus, I knew how much you made, that's why I haven't been looking for a job, and told my mom that she can start demolishing. I've been like, well, I guess your mom's living in a fucking demolished house then, because I ain't paying for shit. I told him I'm not doing a damn thing, and if he wants to help his mother, he can do it himself, and I left the conversation. I found his behavior kind of odd because he never talks to me that way, nor has he ever been demanding like that. The next day, I get home from my office, but I didn't tell my husband when I got off. I walk into our home, I hear my mother-in-law and my husband talking. My mother-in-law said, "I don't know why I let you marry that N-word with the hard ER. They are selfish." What the fucking caucasity? My husband said that some are selfish, but not all. I walked towards my husband and said I want a divorce. I went upstairs, packed most of my clothes, and left. Luckily, I bought me another property that I could stay at that my husband didn't know about. He called me later saying what I heard had an explanation to it, and I hung up on him. Now I get calls from his side of the family saying that mother-in-law can justify what she said and that I'm being sensitive and asking for a divorce over what his mother said is wrong. So, am I the asshole? Sorry for the long post. Thank you for taking your time to read this. Absolutely the fuck not. The fact that she said the hard N and he didn't immediately kick her the fuck out, she's done it many times, and I guarantee you he's probably said it himself too. Possibly even about you. So, honestly, personally right now, no, I don't feel like you're the asshole in this situation. I'd tell him to fucking kick rocks. And if he says sorry, you know what you say? You say you can stuff your sorries in a sack, mister. And you can go fuck yourself. Edit. I'll be sure to update you guys later on in the week or after I meet with the lawyers. But for now, I'll eat ice cream, cry, and watch my favorite anime. Edit 2. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and my non-binary people. Thank you, everyone, for your advice, and prayers as well as blessings. I got emotional after reading the kind words you guys left for me. I appreciate it. I got a call this morning from my husband's father saying that he is very apologetic about what his ex-wife had said and will get me in contact with a lawyer today, and he will pay for all the costs for a lawyer. Damn! Look at him! I was surprised by that. I was not expecting that reaction. Or I wasn't expecting that. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't that. Sorry, hold on, give me a second. I lost my spot because I was just so fucking taken aback. Oh. He will pay for the cost of a lawyer and that he will help me through this whole ordeal. I will update you guys after the meeting. Update, guys. I have an update. I will make a separate post about it because it's going to be a rant. So please have your popcorn and tea. Man, I really need to start like having like a tea time or something like that. Like we need to start having like a tea time episode. Like even if they're small and they just go on TikTok, like that's something we should do. Oh, idea. Sorry. The reason why I'm not updating now is because I'm moving all of my things out and planning to go on a vacation with my side of the family with my newfound richness. So bear with me, you guys. Thank you so much for your patience and blessing. But seriously, get your popcorn and tea, juice, whatever you do in your spare time. You guys aren't going to believe this. Update. This was posted on December 16th of 2022, so 5 days later from the original. I can't remember if I said the original date for this one. Or for the original part. Part 1, I guess. I want to say thank you guys, first and foremost, for all the support that was given throughout this week. But please get your snacks and wine or whatever, because I am very petty and probably the asshole for the things I did. But I do care, no. But do I care? No. Because sometimes revenge is very sweet. So on Monday, I met with the lawyer, and first and foremost, I wanted to make sure my source of income was secure. And secondly, I want to make sure at the time that if I were to go through with the divorce, I was 100% protected. And I am, but me still trying to be a wife and still having love for him, even though he didn't do his job as a husband, and I still wanted to work it out. Say it with me, guys. You're dumb. But anyways, I met with my husband and his mother, and it goes smoothly at first, but it was still tension. So my husband says he is sorry and apologized like 1,000 times. You can stuff your sorries in a sack, mister. So I'm like, okay. So his mother says, I am sorry as well, and I nodded. Then she goes on to ask, can you still help me with the house and bills? No! I still told her no. She looked so confused and said, but I apologized. Guess what? It doesn't fucking matter. You can apologize, and your apology can be accepted, and you still do not get what you can still not get forgiveness completely. You can accept somebody's apology and still choose to no longer want anything to do with them. Just because you accept their apology does not mean that it's just done and over with. You forgive, but you never forget. I just said, just because you apologize doesn't mean I'm ready to accept it, and you're not going to bully me into thinking otherwise. She got so angry, her face turned red, and she said, and I quote, you self-centered B. It's just as B with asterisks, but I'm assuming it's the word bitch. We've talked about threesomes in this episode, so I'm not even going to try and pretend that I cannot say the word bitch. Your kind is always self-centered, and I'm so glad my son cheated on you. We are going to get the money from spousal support, except y'all both signed fucking prenups. Don't work that way. I don't know if you guys saw that Fox show Empire when Cookie Lion was going to hop over that table. I almost did, you guys, because even though she's my grandmother's age, it would be like slapping my grandmother. Okay. and therapy works for some. So instead, I laughed. I looked at my ex-husband, and he couldn't even look me in the eyes. So I knew it was true. After I finished laughing, I said to my dear husband that the divorce papers will be delivered to you by tonight, and you aren't getting shit from me because that prenup you signed 5 years ago. Yeah, you are fucked. Meaning he ain't getting shit. After that, I paid for my food and left. Since then, I moved out of his house, and that house his mom wanted to redo or renovate, she got evicted because she wasn't paying her bills. She was waiting for a handout. So, I am buying that house. Ex-husband is staying with his brother, so is his mother. So for all of this, I deserve a vacation. So as for revenge on my husband, because of course divorce isn't enough for me, I wanted to make him regret everything by living his dream, which is moving to Malibu, living the rich life. But not only am I moving there, I also bought the house he has been looking at for years. My kind will be staying there for Christmas. But other than that, I am doing great. It's like a huge weight has been lifted from my shoulders. Thank you for reading and all the blessings that have been sent my way. I do appreciate it and the support. I loved that. Absolutely loved that. I wish I would have had more, because that was the last one. The one I deleted was like super fucking long. Not as long as that one. But you know what? Because we are not nearly at our 2 hours yet, which I plan to have at least 2 hours. And because, you know what? Because it's fucking whatever Wednesday. No, you know what? Let's do some... Ooh, what do I want to do? You know what? I got something crazy. Let's just go to Reddit and just read from my homepage. I'm waiting for stuff. I will still be taking screenshots at least, so that way I can save it for later. We're just gonna do this live, because why the fuck not? This first one comes from Best of Redditor Updates. Actually, you know what? This one is super fucking long, and I just now realized that, because, like, I have taken, like, 5 screenshots, and I'm not even close to fucking... So give me 1 second. I'm gonna go back. Because I took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screenshots, and my little, like, thing on the side that shows me how far into it I was only, like, this far away from the top of the page. And I'm like, you know what? We're gonna not do that. So we'll do this one. This is a Today I Fucked Up. I don't know what I'm writing. I'm just writing to write. Just so that way I know that I still need to do it. You know what? I'm not going to save the whole thing because I just need the username. This is a not safe for work, and it says, today I fucked up by allowing a colleague to do my interviews for a new job role. This happened on Friday, and I just got around to posting it today. I am a finance manager for a company. We are looking for an assistant for me to manage as we have expanded. Due to my workload, I reviewed a few CVSs. I don't know if it's just CVs, and sent them on to my colleague as I was on annual leave, vacation, for the last few days of the last week. So the applications were set on my colleague, and I asked him to do a basic interview along with a competency test, and if he was happy, he could forward the applications onto my boss, who is a director of the business. Anyway, there are 3/4 good applications, and the interviews happened without myself due to this annual leave and not wanting to hold up the process. One applicant ticked the box on the interview and then was the strongest candidate, who was interviewed and passed the test. My colleague and manager, in my absence, decided to offer her the job, and she accepted. The fuck up. She is a girl who I know personally, and I never knew her last name, and therefore I didn't notice it on the application. The girl in question is an ex-friend with benefits, where things did not end amicably and ended with her blocking me and telling me to fuck off and die. The tea is piping fucking hot, y'all. Oh my, oh, never mind. Comments. Anyway, she's been offered the job and accepted, and she will be working under me as her manager. I am not sure how to handle this and how to address this with our HR department, as she has accepted the contract and handed her notice in on Friday. She will under no circumstances work with me as her manager, and I did not realize she worked in this sector and was looking to change jobs. How do I deal with my induction with her, which is virtual next Monday? TLDR, hired a new hire who was an ex-friends with benefit with ended in her blocking me. Edit, sorry for formatting, I am on mobile. Edit 2, sorry I'm UK based and just woke up, I will reply to top comments now. Edit 3, I plan on going to HR as soon as I am in office at 9 a.m. For now, I have an hour's commute on the train. Edit 4, went to HR at 9 a.m. and they have invited me back at 10 a.m. to fully discuss alongside my manager. Wish me luck. Edit 5, if I want to make it clear, I will be managing her, hence why I want to get advice from HR. If I was not managing her, then there would not be any issues. This is clear. This is about clarity and how to move forward. Edit 6, I have had the meeting and I am expecting an update shortly. Once I have all the details, I will update you all. Lesson learnt, do not outsource your hiring. Edit 7, turns out luck has been on my side. Another manager is looking for a replacement assistant on a similar project, and they have handed in their notice last week and was not public knowledge. This is at a different building, but within 5 minutes of the original location. I am now hiring for a new assistant, and she will go work in another building where there will be little/no contact unless via email. I will be hiring and involved in the whole process. Lesson learned. People are doubting as I did not know her full name. Go on any dating app and their first name is there but not the full name. We hooked up a handful of times and it was casual. We knew rough details but never fully disclosed names, etc. I do not have any problems with her and would work professionally with her and would have been professional manager to her should she had wished to be managed by myself. The blocking was about 6 months ago and I would like to think she had gotten over the situation now. There was no prejudice as the best candidate got the job, so please put down the pitchforks. I have this in writing from HR and have a copy of this for my personal records too. HR and my manager were very supportive, and I am surely they are laughing behind the closed doors as the situation is now resolved. The end. Now I can go enjoy a cold beer on a nice warm evening and no stress or worries. I mean, I would hope so. So this comes from r/am I wrong? Gosh darn it. Am I wrong for telling my dad he got what he deserved and what he wanted? This entire situation is quite long, but I'll try to keep it as short but detailed as possible. It's really not that long. About 5 years ago, my 17F mom, 42, was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. It was a hard time, and my mom fought like hell to beat it, and she did, thankfully. However, after multiple surgeries and a couple of months after starting chemo, my mom was getting really sick and had started to lose her hair. It was the sickest I had ever seen my mom. Around the same time, my dad, 44, served her with divorce papers in front of me and my 2 younger siblings. What? Y'all, the motherfucking audacity of men in general. We were all confused and crying. The only thing my dad kept saying was, I didn't sign up for this, I don't want this. He moved out of our home almost immediately and rarely even contacted his children. For 2 years. During those 2 years, though, my mom had beat breast cancer and was in remission. While her health was looking up, all of the stuff that was happening with my dad kept getting dragged on as he really didn't want to be in mine or my siblings' lives, and he ultimately had to be mandated by the courts too. Fast forward to a year later, 3 years after my mom's diagnosis and a year and some change since recovering, my mom meets Stephanie, her now partner, my stepmother. And we usually go to my dad's every other weekend. Oh, sorry, I skipped a whole sentence. For the past couple of years, my parents have shared custody of my siblings, and we usually go to my dad's every other weekend. But recently, within the past few weeks, I have been opting out on going, especially this past weekend, as I didn't want to spend the 3-day weekend with him. So this was like just posted a day ago, so this is like fresh. Prior to all this, about 3 weeks ago, Stephanie came to me, my brother 14 and my sister 12, and asked us for our mom's hand in marriage. Oh, that's so sweet. I love it when step parents do something like that with like and keep like the kids involved. I think it's so fucking adorable. We were all so happy and excited because Stephanie has brought so much love and happiness to our mom, and we all love Steph. She's really like another mom to us. So, of course, we said yes. So, as my brother and sister are at my dad's this past weekend, I'm not sure how the conversation transpired, but all I know is that my sister said something along the lines of, I hope Stephanie doesn't propose to mom without us there, to my brother. That was enough to send my dad into a rage, making him call me and go on a complete rampage about how he's all alone and he doesn't have his family, and how can my mom and Steph think this was okay without discussing it with him first. Why the fuck would they need to discuss it with you? You fucking left. You didn't ask for this, remember? I simply said, this is what you wanted. You divorced her. You got what you wanted and deserved. I then just hung up. Since Sunday, my dad has been calling and texting me saying that I am a disrespectful little shit for saying that to him and that he's still my father regardless. Am I in the wrong? Absolutely the fuck not. Absolutely the fuck not. I'm going to do this one. Oh, nope, you know what? Never mind. No, I'm not. I was going to do a 2-sentence little horror story just to kind of touch on old things, but that one's dark. So, like, we're talking, like, it talks about children dark. So the answer is no. Here's one. Am I the asshole for backing out of paying for my sister's wedding dress over a joke she made? Sorry, saving it. I had an incident on my wedding day back in 2017 where my former fiance abandoned me and ran away with his pregnant mistress. Y'all, what in the fuck is wrong with men? It's a hypothetical question because I don't think any of us really fucking know. Just saying. That image, those details are forever engraved on my mind, and I'll never forget how I felt that day. This was truly a turning point in my life. My family has always been there for me, so I kept close to them. My younger sister is currently engaged, and her wedding will be in a few months. She's struggling with money, so I decided to help her and her fiance pay the wedding dress. This allowed her to be able to buy her dream wedding gown that cost $7,000. It's a lot for a dress, but she literally cried because she wanted it. I bought my dress, well, my best friend bought my dress off of Amazon. She was determined to buy my dress for the wedding because my dad had always said he was going to do it. And then I no longer have any real contact with him. So, yeah. She was like, I'm going to do it for you because I want to. And even if you say no, you can either work with me on this or I'll just pick one out for you. So, yeah. But it was like under $100 or just over $100, like less than 120. This happened a few days before we agreed to go buy the dress. We were eating dinner at my parents' home and my cousin and aunt were there. My aunt was asking my sister about the wedding and my sister said that everything was going according to plan and then just casually laughed and said, let's just hope he won't I hate it when people use improper grammar. But it says, let's just hope he won't ran away with a pregnant mistress or something in our wedding day. It's run and on. Sorry. I was blown away completely. She laughed and Aunt laughed too as if this was a joke. She was basically mocking what happened with me and my wedding. It happened so fast. I got up, started screaming at her, calling her an idiot, but my parents asked me to take it easy, and she said it was a joke, and she didn't think I'd react so intensely. I think that was the problem. You just didn't think at all. My aunt remained seated, and my cousin asked me to calm down and drink some water. But I grabbed my stuff, and as I was getting ready, I told my sister she was getting $0 for her dream wedding dress. Then I walked out. I heard louder commotion as I walked, and my dad and cousin followed me outside, trying to talk, but I asked to be left alone. My dad spoke. It says, my dad and I spoke. It's not my and dad. Trying to say I was too harsh on my sister over a joke, and said that I know that this is how she is with her dark sense of humor. They said she's been crying, and after I decided to back out of helping her and said this ruined her wedding. They want me to reconsider my decision since it might damage my relationship with my sister, but I refused. Did I overreact? Info. It's my aunt that would usually bring up what happened from time to time and say stuff like, if what happened didn't happen, you would have had at least two kids now, or do you know what day it is? It's your wedding anniversary. Who the fuck brings up stuff like that? That's disgusting. It's harsh, but she stopped doing it anymore. Maybe my sister is being influenced by her, but still, it hurt the same and more coming from my own sister. I'm in shock. That's absolutely fucking disgusting. And this one's... Okay, we're gonna do this one. It comes from Am I the Devil? I tried to read it early, or try to save it earlier, but it wouldn't load, and this is, I feel, is one that I might... Like, I feel like I can really relate to, in a way. Like, not, like, completely, but, like, not the whole situation, but just kind of, like, the basis of it. So, yeah. Because I'm getting close to my end time for this, and I don't know how heated I'm going to get about this one, I'm gonna end my recording real quick, and then we'll start a new one. So, part 4. I'm just gonna wait for that to load up real quick so I can add the music to it, but I think this might be our last one for the... I think this might be our last one for this episode. I think. Nope. Was not part 4. Only part 3. And I can't. And I can't change it right now because it's still loading, so. Okay, so we're just gonna go get into this. I think it's gonna be our last one, but I didn't want to risk running out of time with this one, so. Am I the asshole for asking my girlfriend's ex-abuser about her? Yeah, that's where we're at with this. In case the story gets deleted, am I the asshole for asking my girlfriend's ex-abuser about her? My girlfriend Lola, 30F, and I, 31M, have been together for about 5 months. We recently went to have dinner at a restaurant, and a man approached me after she went to the bathroom and told me to be careful with her, that she was crazy, and that because of her, he spent the night in jail. When we arrived at my apartment, I told her what happened with the description of the guy, and she immediately began to cry and told me that this is her ex who physically hurt her. She told me how they went to live together shortly after the meet, how little by little he led her to get away from everyone, and how he ended up cheating on her with his ex, how he pushed her several times when she faced them both. Apparently, this girl had no idea that he was in another relationship and dropped him right there, angering him and grabbing her by the neck, and told her, "Now you're going to know the real me." He then went to talk with the father of her child, Leo, 33M, and told him that she was selling herself for money, and that if it was him, he wouldn't let her approach their son. Then Leo told him that he knew her long enough, basically, to know that she wouldn't do that, and that if she was, that was her business. Basically, he sided with her, and that it would be better for him to leave his property. After that, she went to the police because she was afraid he might retaliate, so now she has a restriction order. Oh. She has a restriction order against him. I didn't say anything and just held her while she cried, but honestly, the feeling of what that guy said kept nagging me. What if he said was true? Motherfuckers. What if she was really insane? Oh, goodness. You got a little bit of a runny nose, baby. You was dreaming something hardcore. Oh. So I kept coming back to that restaurant, unbeknownst to her, hoping to find him. I did. We talked. He's a scumbag. According to him, he didn't deserve what happened because while he did grab her by the neck, he never squeezed hard enough. He just wanted to scare her. I felt like shit. So I went to confess what I've done. I tried to explain that I needed the confirmation of her character, that she wasn't going to turn all Amber Heard on me. What if she really was insane? I couldn't take the risk. Of course, she flipped on me. She told me I was an idiot. Have she ever tell a lie? No. Have she ever been shady? No. She asked me to leave and haven't been answering my texts or calls since. I know what I did was a little wrong, but I needed reassurance that I was with a genuinely good person, victim of the circumstances, and not some psycho. I told 2 friends, and one of them is with me, and the other is angry at me. So Reddit. Am I the asshole? Abso-fucking-lutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. I can't even fucking talk. I'm so angry about it. Like, who the fuck does that? Just who the fuck? Why would you take... Oh my gosh. Why would you want to take the fucking... How do I want to put this? Why would you want to take the word of somebody that possibly abused your girlfriend over your girlfriend? That would be like me going to... That would be like me finding out that my boyfriend was, or that would be like me finding out that my boyfriend abused somebody, and instead of talking to the girl who he possibly abused, I would just be like, oh, she was crazy, it was defense. Like, okay, that's fine then. That's crazy to me. I will never understand people like that. It's just, you're dating her. Has she shown you any thought or any sign that she might be a little bit cuckoo? If not, then why would you want to take his fucking side? That is the end of my water bottle. And that is also the end of this episode. It has been a really, really long one. I apologize for all the pauses and stuff. But I am super excited that we were able to do this, and I hope it turns out good. I hope I'm able to edit out the parts where I had to leave. But thanks to everyone for listening today. I hope you all enjoyed the podcast. If you know somebody who likes my content, feel free to send me their way in a share. If you would like to send me a message with your own story, rant, question, unpopular opinion, or if you want me to tell others how you fucked up today or any day, send me a message via any of my social media found in the description below. Just look for my cute little avatar you see on whatever app you're listening on. Please, give a rating if you enjoyed what you heard today. I hear that they help out tremendously. And as always, I will catch y'all next time. Bye! I am so excited that we were able to do this. I can't. Not that it matters, but I just wanted to be able to save it. Yes, thank you guys for spending the time with me. I hope the episode turns out fairly well. And here's to another year of Phoenix Reads. I'm excited to see where this next year is honestly going to take us. I have a feeling that it's going to be somewhere great. So, have a good night, guys. It is almost midnight here, so I am definitely going to be going to bed. So, I will see you guys next time.